Hey, awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to another Warhammer video. In this one, we'll be discussing patch 14, which came out just recently. I believe it was dropped yesterday. We'll talk about some of the changes that I've done. Obviously, I'm not going to go over them because there is a lot. There's 3 different parts. So, I just try to highlight as much as I can. It might be a long video, but do forgive me. But before we get started, I just want to remind that if we can get to 500 subscribers by November 1st, we'll be doing a $50 gift card giveaway. If we get it by November 12th, which is my birthday, we'll be doing $25 gift card giveaway. All right, let's get started. Patch 14 dropped yesterday. There are a lot of buffs, nerfs, changes, so a lot of stuff changed. Let's get into it. We start out with operative modifier suppression boost is now increased suppression from 5 to 25%. We're gonna go over all the characters, some of the weapons and stuff that have been buffed, nerfed, changed. We'll start out with Psyker. Now, they set the coil time to 0, so it's more fluid for Psykers to start quelling after switching to our Blitz. They changed Blitz Brain Rupture. Now, they reduced the cost of it, of charging, okay, right click for mouse and keyboard, from 30% to 20%. They reduced the movement penalties from charging, and they increased the power from 850 to 900. They also increased the damage to unyielding armor from 1 to 1.25, to maniac armor damage from 1 to 1.5, and from carapace from 0.75 to 1. Obviously, I'm not going to go with some of the other stuff like fixes. You'll be able to see. I'm just going to highlight the big things. Assail, they made it to where they reduced the spamminess of it, but they increased the usability of a secondary aimed attack. They reduced the primary action attack primary action power from 250 to 200. They increased the power of secondary, aka aimed throw, from 250 to 340 or 400 if we have Empire Psionics. They fixed a assail projectile that would sometimes lose targeting when we had 4 swords. They fixed smite. They got rid of the infinite smite, which was a bug. I loved it. It kind of sucks, but they said they're looking to further look at it. But for now, they increased the power. So with Empire Psionics, we get 125% more damage, and which I believe is additive, which is why it's plus sign. And now it spreads 50% faster. Right? They changed the combat ability Psykinetic Wrath. Now they added 10% coil to the base of it, which means we don't need to upgrade that skill or that combat ability to avoid blowing our heads up or dying ourselves. They fixed Screer's Gaze, where the sound effect was sometimes bug. They changed the combat ability Telekind Shield, Telekind Dome. They increased the placement speed of it. They increased the max duration of Telekind Shield from 15 seconds to 17.5. And they increased the max duration of Telekind Dome from 15 seconds to 22.5 seconds, which is pretty good. More time on Telekind Shield, Telekind Dome, which means less time the gunners will be able to shoot you. They also increased the health of it from 15 to 20. They increased the minimum duration of Telekind Shield and Telekind Dome from 4 seconds to 6.5. They fixed an issue where sometimes it would not be able to place in certain flat areas. And they fixed, well, but it looks with the bug where you could just spam it. The Telekind Shield and Telekind Dome with the Warp Siphon. But they made some other stuff. They changed the Soul Stealer. They reduced toughness replenishment for 15% to 7.5. They also changed Perilous Combustion. Now, instead of giving 4 stacks of Soul Blaze on a leader special skills, it gives 3. They changed Prescience Talent. Now it gives 5% crit hit chance instead of 4. They reduced the power of Kinetic Presence, the damage from 10% to 5%. Right? That's all the Psyker. Changed. They obviously did some other bug fixes, but those are the big things. Now let's talk about Zealot. The Blitz Blades of Faith. They made it to where knife throw is a lot more consistent and easier to hit priority targets. They added a small cleave to it, so you can cleave through one small enemy. They reduced projectile radius from 0.37 to 0.2. It makes it easier to hit priority targets in hordes. They fixed the Blade of Faith, so it doesn't inherit the spread modifiers from ranged weapons. They increased the power of it from 500 to 585 to help reaching some weak spot breakpoints. They increased flak armor damage modifier went from 0.75 to 0.8. They fixed the ability, or not, sorry, they didn't fix. They changed the ability Shard Field. Now, Perfectionist of Shard Field reduces the backstab damage from 100% to 50, but they also lowered the cooldown from 100% to 50, meaning it's less punishment. You know, the cooldown is less punishing, and they avoid doing way too much damage to a single target. They changed the finesse damage bonus from being multiplicative to additive. And now Demon Host will be able to see you even when you're in Sheffield to avoid players just, aggroing it and just going invis and just making it so it attacks the players. They changed Chorus of Spiritual Fortitude. Now you can cancel it with a secondary action input. They changed action chaining so that you're not allowed to cancel out our ability doing wielding animation, just so you don't accidentally cancel it. And they changed it to where monstrosities only stagger on the first and last pulse of the ability. They changed the talent of Inexorable Judgment. I apologize, I butchered it. Now it only activates on melee and ranged hits. They changed Second Wind. They added 0.5 internal cooldown. And they increased toughness replenishment from 10% to 15%. They reduced damage of Shield of Contempt. Now it reduces the damage reduction from 75% to 60%. They changed Bleed for the Emperor, reduced damage reduction from 50 to 40%. They did it to avoid high stacking of damage reduction. They fixed an issue where Beacon of Purity Aura could leave players with remaining corruption damage. They fixed an issue where Saint Against Again didn't activate when reloading combat shotgun or stub revolvers. There is the big changes for Zealot. Obviously, there will be more. I will leave all the patch notes, part 1, part 2, part 3 down in the description. They changed Veteran to where reduced Veteran stamina regeneration delay from 1.25 to 1, meaning veterans will not be able to regen stamina quicker. They changed Smoke Grenade, added a small stagger to a Smoke Grenade explosion. Duration increase from base of 10 seconds to 15 seconds with Grenade Tinker. 15 seconds with Grenade Tinker Talent, and 30% duration increase from 10-second base, 15 with Grenade Tinker Talent to 15 base. Okay, so now instead of base being 10 seconds, it's 15, and the Grenade Tinker, it's 30 seconds. They changed the Crag Grenade Blitz. One grenade will now land where aimed, and the duplicate of grenades will land in random position, left or right of the aim position. That's with the talent Twin Blast. They changed combat ability Volley Fire / Executioner stance. Add a cooldown to tick, but they increased the cooldown from 25% to 35% seconds. Which means if you get higher uptime with it will be better for you. They changed the tank on fire, which added Scab Stalkers as a Volley Fire targets. They changed the Infiltrate, where same with the Zealot, the Demon Host will not be able to see you. But they reduced the cooldown of it from 60 seconds to 45 seconds. But they increased the duration of it from 6 to 8 seconds, which means you have a less cooldown and a little bit more time in Infiltrate. They reduced the cooldown of Voice of Command from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. Now they also added stronger stagger to Voice of Command, which means you will now be able to stagger monstrosities and mutants, which is a huge thing. Seems that the Veteran is getting buffs. Now they changed only in Deathless Duty End. They increased cooldown increase from 33 to 50%, reduced cooldown of Voice Command, which means you're still gonna have 15 seconds extra cooldown. They just changed the numbers to make up for reduced cooldown. Now they changed the talent Duty and Honor. Increased toughness gain from it from 50 to 100, and duration from 10 to 15 seconds, which is massive since the Veteran is getting a lot of buffs. They changed the talent That Shot, moved from percentage of max stamina to flat stamina. You get 0.75 stamina per second and 0.25 per shot. They changed exploited weakness, increased from 2.5 bitterness to 10%, and set max of 2. And if it says rending, it should say brittleness. I apologize for butchered it. They changed the talent rending strike, reduced it from 15 to 10% rending on all weapons. You know. They changed keep their heads down. They increased ranged attack suppression from 25 to 50. They changed demolition team. You know, correct the description to say that only veteran receives grenades. That's about it for the veteran. Now let's talk about Ogryn. Blitz, big friendly rock. You know, now reduce the replenishment of it from 60 seconds to 45. So it means you get your rock faster. Increased maniac damage. Increased impact for monstrosities. Stones thrown to the head of monstrosities now staggers them. The lower chaining time from wield to aim throw, you know, which means you now have easier time throwing and it'll allow you for reactive gameplay. They changed Ogryn Frag Grenade. Armor modifiers cause damage near and far. Now they increased the damage from near 200 to 325, 200. They increased armor modifiers from far damage near and far for carry piece from 75% and 37.5 to 137.5. So you do more near damage, you know, by a lot. Unyielding damage from 187.5 and 100 to 262.5 and 112.5. So your Ogryn Frag Grenade does a bit more damage by a bit of a decent amount. Now you have combat ability Lord Protector. They fixed an issue where Demon Host was behaving weirdly after Ogryn would use it. They changed Point Blank Barrage, you know. Talent Light Him Up reduces stack. They reduce the stacks of burn from 3 to 2, which sucks, but you can still do a lot of damage and get a lot of stacks of burn. They changed the Talent of Batter. They reduced the number of bleed stacks applied from heavy attacks from 6 to 4. Oof. They changed Painted Outburst. You know, they fixed an issue where Talent would return 100% toughness instead of 25 and replenish toughness of tank down. They changed Dominate. They reduced from 30% to 15% rending on elite kills. That is all for the classes. Some were nerfs, some were huge nerfs, some were really good buffs like Veteran. Now let's talk about enemies. They tweaked enemy base health on all difficulties with a focus on bigger elites to make them stay alive longer and, conflict director to not spawn as many. They changed the mutant base health from 1900 to 2000. They changed bulwark health from 1500 to 1800. They changed crusher health from 15 to 1800. They changed drag and scab ranger health from 800 to 1200. They changed scab mauler base health from 1200 to 1500. And they added new backstab sounds for elites. They increased heavy stagger threshold for crushers, maulers, and reapers. They lowered push force applied by scab and drag gunner shots by around 60%. They tweaked scab stalker combat range to increase distance where they switch from melee to ranged attack. Scab shoots can now trigger unsuccessful dodge procs, And they fixed so scab gunners will only drop his grenade once pin pull is played. They fixed niche that will cause flamers to spawn more often. And they fixed a more aggressive speedrunning prevention spawning. Now mutants, they improved dodging when mutants charge players around corners. Added extra wall collision rate, just that extra wall of collision. Plague Organs, they lowered Plague Organ stomp radius, which is massive. They tweaked Beast of Nurgle Slime slow from 50 to 20%, which is huge. It's so annoying to get stuck in a slime slow. They fixed the crash that would occur if two Beasts of Nurgle try to consume the same enemy, as primarily Maelstrom stuff. Now, that's it for the enemy. Let's talk a bit about it with the weapons. They reduced the bleed damage from 200 to 175. They increased sprint acceleration for ranged assault sprint. They fixed the recoil, doesn't increase while crash for some weapons. Rending no longer increased stagger strength. Right? That's the general ones. Now let's look at Dueling Sword. Now, dueling swords will have fast access to weapon special attacks because they changed the chain window. They adjust the cleave values and they increase the power on stab heavy attacks. They also increase the armor damage modifier versus unyielding and flak on stab heavy. And now all dueling swords will have fast access to weapon special. Heavy sword, that's a damage profile from first to second target, so it's the same damage. Chain axe, increased maniac armor damage modifiers. For kickback, faster auto reload after shooting hip zoomed, increased power and a bit tightness spread with ADS, aim downside, and minimum pellet hit count change from 10 to 16 for both hip fire, and adds on all armor types except for flak and yielding. They changed Grenadier Gauntlet. They tweak values on melee attacks to make it more viable, which is pretty good since it kind of sucked. The Reaper Gun reduced base reload speed from 30 to 20, and they slightly reduced ammo reserve. 4 swords. The fixed niche was smart targeting of the 4-sword push follow-up being overly prioritized. They increased light and heavy attack damage with bit increased cleave and finesse. They changed, oh, that's a huge nerf. They changed the infinite dodge limit to 5, so it's now the same as combat gun, or combat knife, sorry. Infantry last gun, they improved sprint speed, hip fire recoil spread, and increased power. Last pistol, increased power, reduced sprint ready up time, slightly increased fire rate, and they took recoil spread stability, to be not as bad. Thunderhammer, they added 1 more dodge. When you switch Crucius Mark to Thunderhammer push follow to be light sweep. Switched Iron Helm, activated strike down heavy sweep profile to heavy single target profile, which means it'll be good against single targeting. And they switched Iron Helm chain push follow to heavy 3 for easier access. Crusher, they changed it for it to be more faster, crowd controlling and headshotting focused weapon. They added 1 more dodge. They tuned in light and heavy damage to be more efficient. They're focusing on headshotting. They increased heavy hitbox length from 1.15 to 1.4. They increased attack speed. And they switched push-up follow to light sweeping to have higher finesse. They reduced light and heavy activated explosion to large decrease on light attack. Tactical access. For Atrox Mark II, they tuned up single target damage for light 1 and light 3. Now, Ogren Club. They increased speed of heavy attacks on Brunt Basher Mark III Bully Club. Slap. They toned down impact to avoid a bit of juggling enemies in the air. And yeah, they added the chain to heavy attack 1 from push follow up and slightly increased the chain time. Devil Claw Mark 7 push follow up switched to single target damage profile. Following attack changed to a sweeping profile, meaning the first attack will be more useful versus 1 target, and following attack will be more useful with multiple targets. Now, combat access. Oculus added a chain to heavy attack 1. Headhunter autoguns. They have bash weapon special. They took hitboxes to be a bit more easier to hit. They increased speed of normal and heavy bashing. And they added a chain window from hip shooting, so shooting won't lock you from firing as much. Vrax Mark III Headshunter. They took recoil. Vrax Mark 7 Headhunter. Took recoil behavior, increased damage per shot, decreased fire rate. Now, Agrippa Mark 8 Headhunter autogun. They changed the burst time from 0.175 to 0.1. Braced autoguns. All braced autoguns now replace push on weapon special to sweep. They added stagger reduction on bash hit, higher on the weak spot hit, and tweaked hitboxes to make it easier to hit, and increase speed of normal and heavy bash. Ball guns. Bash weapon special. Replace push on weapon sweep to weapon special to sweep. Added a stagger reduction on bash hit, higher on weapons weak spot, tweaked hitboxes, increased speed of bashing, and increased power. For autoguns, they changed the crit effect to be less flash bangy one, so it's a lot less blinding. They increased ammo clip in reserve. For Agrippa Mark 1 infantry autogun, they tweaked recoil, reduce recoil on the first 3 hits, and increase recoil on move around 2 times of stationary. Now, Columnus Mark 5 infantry gun. It took recoil, reduced horizontal by a lot, fixed faulty crouch setting that caused recoil to go up on crouching, increased sprint speed, increased dodge, Change damage profile to be more active, to be more effective at close range, far range fall off. They set same fall off range as other infantry guns. They slightly reduced vertical recoil. And for Graya Mark 8 infantry gun, they tweaked recoil. They increased sprint speed. Now for force staffs, here's the big one for psychers. They've tweaked fire rate times. No, fire now is now 0.1, up from 0.025 seconds. And they changed the animation so it's better match the fire time. They changed the special attack bash. It's now slightly faster, and changed damage profile to be similar to other bash weapons. Higher stagger and weak spot hit, higher on heavy and more cleave on sweep. They increased hitbox range and tweaked chain timing. Organ cleavage. The fix or uppercut now staggers heavy targets such as crushers. Or for the slap shield and maul, they increased push radius from 3.25 to 4 and tuned chain timing. Now for shovel, they tuned chain timing, increased damage of light and heavies. Karakan combo blade, they tweaked up light and heavies. They added 25% backstab damage bonus to heavies. For power swords, Minotaur Mark 6 power sword block cost reduction by 25. And the activation can be cancelled to block 0.3 seconds in, keeping the activation. They changed to activated attack power buffed significantly. Significantly. Heavy with a focus on horde clearing. Light for DPS, small targets, and push attack, weak spot hits for carapace and yielding. They changed voice strike, chain timing from start of the next projectile. Chain timing from start next projectile start to coil time. I am having a hard time reading. They changed to where it's now reduced from the previous 70% buff applied to the secondary fire to tune down extra damage on high health targets, like crushers, bulwarks, stuff like that. They added gibbing to the surge staff kills. For Rumbler, they reduced sway to make aiming trajectory more reliable, and they added a crosshair during reload. Now human shotguns. Upped ammo pool and increased armor damage modifier versus unarmored, infested, maniacs, and yielding. For plasma gun, just used increased power, increased cleave, and increased finesse. For grenades, changed aiming grenades to update aiming trajectory up to the point of throwing the projectile. Whew. As you can see, there is a lot. Obviously, we're not going to go into some of the fixes. But let's talk about the blessings. They changed some of the blessings. They changed from attack speed to up close for fire frenzy. Close damage is now 7% stacking up to 5 times, 8% stacking up to 5 times, 9% stacking up to 5 times, and 10 for tier 4 stacking up to 5 times. So tier 1 you get 7%. At 10 or tier 4 you get 10%. Now they changed ship down has been fully reworked into solely ranged attack immunity, and they got rid of sprint speed bonus, but they kept a movement speed bonus in a talent tree. Speed loader changed from triggering melee to close skills, and they added stacking bonus up to 5 stacks. Tier 1 is 14% to 7. They changed from 14 to 7%. Tier 2 from 16 to 8. Tier 3 18 to 9. And Tier 4 from 20 to 10. Now, for the duration of infantry gun, for all tier infantry autoguns, it's now 2.5 seconds. For braced autoguns, it's the same. 2.5 seconds. For auto pistols, it's 2 seconds. Recon last gun is 3 seconds. Last pistols 3 seconds also, and revolvers is 4 seconds. Now let's splinter cooldown has been changed. Tier 1 stayed the same. Tier 2 from 5 seconds to 4.5. Tier 3 from 5 to 4, and Tier 4 is from 5 to 3.5 seconds. Rufus backstab. Rending bonus has been changed from 35% at Tier 1 to 90. At Tier 2 from 40 to 100, Tier 3 45 to 110, Tier 4 50 to 120. They changed Infernus, burning maximum stacks for Recon Last Gun from 8 to 10 and from 10 to 12 at tier. Can Opener, bidding the stacks from 5 to 10, 6 to 12, 7 to 14, and at max 8 to 16. That is all. There's a bunch of other bug fixes, as you can see. There'll be a link down in the description all of it. Right now, there is other stuff. I'm not gonna go all over it. All the patch notes to patch 1, patch 14 for part 1, part 2, part 3 will be down in the description because I don't want to make this video any more longer. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some of the details. Obviously, there's a lot more stuff. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to stay awesome. And if we can get to 500 subscribers by November 1st, we'll be doing $50 gift card giveaway. If you get it by November 12th, we'll be doing $25 gift card giveaway. If you want me to make a video for part 2, part 3, and part 3, do let me know down in the description. But with that said, you'll have a good one. Bye bye.